Good morning, students. In today's session, we are going to revise 15th lesson, Environmental Chemistry. So, when you see the word environment, which is related with the air we breathe, or water, plants, human beings, these are all include under this environment, isn't it? So environment chemistry, we are going to deal with chemicals and chemical process, so which are related with this environment, that is termed as environmental chemistry. So when we are going to talk about this environmental chemistry, so it is given under three main headings, that is pollutions, air pollution, water pollution, next one is soil pollution. So these three topics are given under this environmental chemistry. So first we have to see about the first pollution, air pollution. Before going to this topic, first we can see, so what is the meaning of the pollutant? So pollutant means it is a substance which causes harmful effect on plants and human beings, that is termed as pollutants. Pollutants are of two types, that is degradable pollutants and non-degradable pollutants. Non-degradable and non-degradable. So in the case of degradable pollutants, that is pollutants which are decomposed by natural biological process, that is termed as degradable pollutants. What's the meaning? That is, so these type of pollutants, for example, we can say plant based or animal based. So these waste matter can be decomposed by natural biological process. Can be decomposed by natural biological process. This we can call it as degradable pollution. So just a reverse for non-degradable pollutants, that is, so these pollutants, these waste matter, they cannot be decomposed by natural biological process. We can say maybe a metal waste, plastics, these are all common examples for non-degradable pollutants. Pollutants are of two types. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about the first pollution, air pollution. From the word itself you can understand, even from your lower classes maybe you have learned about this. So air pollution, so it is any chemical substances which causes a bad active, maybe we can say harmful effect. Okay. So any pollutant which may cause harmful effect on air, that is termed as air pollution. So we can say the example for this air pollution, or even from the industries, the chemical waste which are produced, or from the automobile exhaust, the gases which are produced, they are all responsible for this air pollution. So we can study in detail what are these chemicals that are responsible for this air pollution. So first chemical we can going to discuss that is gaseous air pollutants. So gaseous, even solid particles and liquid droplets also responsible for this air pollution. So first we can discuss about gaseous air pollutants. So under the gaseous air pollutants, we can say first is oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, third one is oxides of carbon, hydrocarbon. So these are the gaseous air pollutants which cause air pollution. Oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, oxides of carbon, hydrocarbons. So first we can discuss the first one, oxides of sulfur. So that is, so two oxides are there. One is sulfur dioxide, the other one is sulfur trioxide. So these two gases are responsible for this air pollution. So how these gases are produced means by means of burning of fossil fuels. That's the first case. Okay. So the sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide are introduced in the air by the burning of combustion. When the combustion of fossil fuel is done from there, so the sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide is produced. So afterwards, when sulfur dioxide is produced by this, even by the oxidation, the roasting of sulfide was also responsible for the releasing of this oxides of sulfur. Two cases, one is combustion of fossil fuels. Combustion of fossil fuels. Second case is roasting of sulfide ores. So these are the two reasons for production of this oxides of sulfur. So when sulfur dioxide is formed, this sulfur dioxide is oxidized to form sulfur trioxide. This sulfur trioxide, which is reasonable for the formation of sulfuric acid, that is sulfuric acid, when it is dissolved in water, it reaches the earth's surface in the form of acid rain. Okay, so this sulfur trioxide, on dissolves in water, it forms sulfuric acid. So the sulfuric acid in the form of acid rain, it reaches the earth and it affects animals, human beings and plants also. Okay. So first the air pollutant we have discussed. So next we can discuss about oxides of nitrogen. So oxides of nitrogen, that is nitric oxide and nitrogen dioxide. So these two are formed by two reasons. One is combustion of petrol, diesel, coal. So this is the first reason for the releasing of oxides of nitrogen. First reason is for this combustion of coal, petrol, diesel. So we can say as fuels. So one case. Second case is for the releasing of this nitrogen. Second case is by the means of fertilizers. Okay. So these are the two cases from fertilizers. So ammonium nitrate, like this fertilizers also produce this oxides of nitrogen. So when this nitrogen oxide, it may be nitric oxide or nitrogen dioxide. I'll write the equation. So nitrogen present in the atmosphere, it combines with oxygen and forms nitric oxide. This nitric oxide on a reaction with oxygen to forms nitrogen dioxide. This nitrogen dioxide combines with water and forms nitric acid. This acid also responsible for the formation of acid rain. Is it clear, students? So we have discussed two topics. So next is oxides of carbon. Oxides of carbon is given in two headings. One is carbon monoxide, the other one is carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide, that is CO, isn't it? So we are discussing third heading, that is oxides of carbon. So oxides of carbon, carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, it is CO. The main reason for the production of this carbon monoxide is incomplete combustion of fuels. Okay, mostly automobile exhaust, they produce this carbon monoxide gas. The main effect of this carbon monoxide is when a person inhales this carbon monoxide, it combines with hemoglobin H2. So when carbon monoxide combines with hemoglobin, it forms carboxyhemoglobin. Carboxyhemoglobin. The main drawback of this, when a person inhales this carbon monoxide, it binds with hemoglobin that forms carboxyhemoglobin. So this mainly this carboxyhemoglobin compound, it stops the oxygen transport in blood. So when oxygen transport in blood is decreases, it causes headache. Even it is possible for cardiac arrest. Is it clear, students? So we have seen about carbon monoxide. So next we can see carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide, formula is CO2. By the process of respiration, human beings absorb, that is, inhale oxygen, and human beings releasing carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide gas, it can be inhaled by, otherwise can be used by the plants by the process of photosynthesis and producing carbohydrate and oxygen gas. Isn't it? But nowadays planting of trees are reduced so that carbon dioxide amount also increases in Earth's atmosphere. So because of this increasing amount of carbon dioxide, it causes global warming. So now we can explain global warming. Important to understand global warming or greenhouse effect. So our Earth's atmosphere. So before introducing this topic, we can see what are the layers in the atmosphere. So we know that atmosphere it contains 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and remaining 1% of carbon dioxide, argon, neon, like this noble gases. Isn't it? So these atmosphere or of four layers. One is troposphere. thermosphere. Next is stratosphere. Next is mesosphere. Thermosphere. So these are the 4 layers of the atmosphere. So first layer is troposphere. From the Earth's surface to 10 kilometer, that is 0 to 10 kilometer. That we can say the troposphere. Next, 10 to 15 kilometer, that is usually 80% of our atmosphere or troposphere. Next, 10 to 50 kilometer, that layer we can call it a stratosphere. The important, our atmosphere, that is oxygen, nitrogen, these are mainly the troposphere, so oxygen gases. So here in case of stratosphere, in this layer, we can say important layer present in the stratosphere is ozone layer. So which is useful to stop the UV radiation directly coming to the earth. Next is mesosphere, that is 50 to 85 kilometer. Next, 85 to 500 kilometer up to this region, that is termed as thermosphere. So clear? So next, troposphere also further classified into hydrosphere, okay, mesosphere. So now we are going to discuss about this carbon dioxide as a global warming. So this carbon, so in the layer of troposphere, so carbon dioxide and methane, chlorofluorocarbon, these 3 gases are involved in this global warming. 3 gases I have said, what are they? Carbon dioxide, CFC, chlorofluorocarbon and methane, CH2. So these 3 gases are called as greenhouse gases. So actually how this global warming is done is, when sun reflects its sunlight, it reaches the earth's surface, isn't it? So earth, it contains atmosphere. So when this sunlight is absorbed by this earth's atmosphere, it is not absorbed, so just it is reflecting on the surface of the earth. So afterwards, immediately that same sunlight will be returned back to the atmosphere. So atmosphere, first layer troposphere. So in that troposphere, especially these 3 gases, if the amount is small, that effect is small. So these 3 gases, carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbon, CH4, these gases trap that light which is emitted by the heat energy that is emitted by our earth. Okay. So afterwards, what they are doing is, after trapping that light, and the same radiation will be reflected towards our earth again. Okay, re-emitted. So when it is re-emitted, the earth's atmosphere, that is earth's surface, is getting heat more. So this type of heating of our globe is called as global warming. The gases which is responsible for this global warming, that is called as greenhouse gases. Is it clear, friends? The sun reflects its sunlight, which is passed over our earth's surface. Afterwards, our surface is getting the same light is re-emitted by, isn't it? But these gases, carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbon, methane, which is present in our atmosphere, they are trapping that sunlight, and same way they are re-emitting the same heat energy towards earth, so that our earth is getting heated up. So this process is termed as global warming, and the gases which is responsible for this global warming, they are called as greenhouse gases. Is clear? So environmental effect of this global warming. So, clear students? So we have seen three for air pollution. We have seen oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, oxides of carbon. We have seen hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbon, from the word itself you can understand. Hydrogen and carbon, when it mixes together, a set of compounds, they are called as hydrocarbons. This hydrocarbons also, when it is suspended in air, so these are also affect the air and form air pollution. Is it clear, students? Next we can see Next we can see the topic acid rain. So normal water, it has the pH range, that is 5.6. So when pH of the water decreases from this value, that terms that acid rain. So rainwater, its pH is 5.6. We know that pH scale, the scale from 0 to 14. So here it is 7, that is neutral. From 0 to 7, it is acid. 7 to 14, pH value, that is base. So here already 5.6. So if the pH is less than 5.6, so that rainwater we can call it as acid rain. The main reason for this acid rain is oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur. So they are responsible for this formation of acid rain. So how they are responsible for acid rain? Oxides of nitrogen, especially nitrogen dioxide. Here especially sulfur trioxide. Already we have seen under that gaseous air pollution, the same explanation here also. So these oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, they are mainly produced by that is combustion of fossil fuels. They are producing this nitrogen and sulfur oxide. Okay. So for example, oxides of nitrogen, NO2, on reaction with further oxidation plus H2O, it forms HNO2. Okay. So next, same way here, sulfur, oxides of sulfur also, SO2 plus H2O it forms. Sulfur dioxide plus O2 plus H2O forms H2SO4. Sulfuric acid. So this nitric acid and sulfuric acid, when it is dissolved in water, it reaches the earth as acid rain. So why we are calling it as acid rain? When you test the pH value is less than 5.6. So that we can say this is acid rain. So acid rain, it has harmful effects on skin of human beings. Even it forms irritation in the skin. And for plants, animals, and even in the buildings also, even underwater water pipes also corroded by this acid rain. So corrodes the marbles. Okay, that the process is known as stone leprosy. Stone leprosy. That meaning is, so when acid rain attacks the, this is the formula for marble, so attacks the slip form. Okay, so like this, when acid rain attacks the marble, that process is termed as stone leprosy. So also it causes irritation in skin of human beings, and even in underwater pipes can be damaged by this acid rain, and even plants, agriculture, food production also damaged, and animals also can be caused by this acid, can be affected by this acid rain. Is it clear? So we have seen acid rain. So next we can see right hand side. I will write important questions also. Global warming, greenhouse effect, acid rain, so next we can see the topic. Stratospheric pollution. Okay, so stratospheric. Stratosphere, it contains a layer that is ozone layer, isn't it? So ozone formula O3. The important layer which is present in stratosphere, that is ozone layer. So ozone, it's a molecule, that formula is O3, which is formed by, like this, when oxygen molecules can be decomposed into oxygen by UV light. The same oxygen molecule, when combines with atomic oxygen, it forms ozone. So this ozone molecules are set up as a layer in this stratosphere, that we can call it as ozone layer. The main use of ozone layer is it protects the human beings or earth. Okay? It protects the earth from the harmful UV radiation. So harmful UV radiations which is stopped by this ozone layer. But so there is a depletion in ozone layer nowadays we heard as a major problem. Depletion of ozone layer. So consider when ozone layer is formed, it is automatically present as a layer in stratosphere, isn't it? So by use of chemicals like nitrogen oxides, so they react with ozone, and ozone can be decomposed into molecular oxygen. When ozone molecules are decomposed as oxygen molecule, it forms a hole in ozone layer. So when hole is created in ozone layer, directly this UV radiations are entering towards the earth even for human beings, skin cancer, and for animals and plants also, it gives the harmful effects. Is it clear? So I will write the equation which is responsible for this ozone layer. So ozone layer, that is ozone O3, isn't it? So ozone layer which is depleted by oxides of nitrogen. So these oxides of nitrogen are pollutants by the combustion of fossil fuels, or most probably it is by the exhaust of jet engines. Okay, so supersonic jets, these are responsible for this depletion of ozone layers. So these gases, this nitric oxide which is formed by jet engines and supersonic jets. So when this combined with this ozone molecule and it forms NO2 plus 2. Okay, so same thing, this O2 again when it is reacted with nitrogen and finally it will form nitric oxide. So nitric oxide as a chain form, it will produce continuously. So that continuously once nitric acid is produced, the same nitric acid can react again with ozone molecule and continuous depletion will be going on. Is it clear? So it is very absorbable one, that is we have to protect this layer, ozone layer. So only way to reduce this depletion of ozone layer is, so this type of gases production will be stopped. Is it clear, students? So we have seen that ozone layer depletion. Next we can see types of smog. Here we have seen ozone depletion. Next is types of smog. Smog, from the word itself you can understand, it is combination of two words, that is smoke and fog. Smoke and fog, it's combination of smoke and fog which is suspended in air, which is called as smog. Smog are of two types. One is classical smog, the other one is photochemical smog. Classical smog, the other one is photochemical smog. First one, classical smog, isn't it? So classical smog is, first the smog is observed in London, so it is otherwise termed as London smog. Clear? So next, mostly this type of smog we can observe only in cool places. The climate should be cool. Okay. So one more thing is, so it is observed only in the morning, and when the sun rises it becomes worst. It is oxides of sulfur are responsible for this formation of classical smog. So oxides of sulfur, we can say especially the smog is called as oxidizing smog. Why we are calling it as oxidizing smog means the pollutants which are responsible for this classical smog is oxides of sulfur. So it is oxides of sulfur is oxidizing in, reducing in nature. So we can call this smog as reducing smog. Reducing smog. The next one, photochemical smog, isn't it? So just reverse to this classical smog. So it can be, this type of smog, first it is observed in Los Angeles. So this smog is called as Los Angeles smog. Next, this type of smog we can observe only in dry climates. Okay, so it is not possible in the morning, but when the sun rises, this type of photochemical smog can be observed. Next is, so oxides of nitrogen are responsible for this photochemical smog. So it is oxidizing in nature, so it is called as oxidizing smog. Oxides of nitrogen is responsible for this. Have you understand? So if the question is asked us the difference between, so these are the points you can note it. Is it clear? Next we can see soil pollution. For the pollution in soil, pollution in soil. So water pollution we can see afterwards. So the important reason for this water pollution is, so first we can say, so it is because of microorganisms, that is microorganisms. So microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, protozoa, so these are the responsible for this pollution of water. So this is the first case, microorganism. Second is organic waste. Organic waste are responsible for this water pollution. So under this we can see an important topic, that is eutrophication. So this process is, so when excess nutrients are given to the plants which is on the surface of water, so the plant growth will be more. The excessive growth of plant, that is called as algae bloom. Algae bloom. This excessive growth of these plants, which causes oxygen deficiency in the aquatic life, maybe fishes or whatever may be the aquatic life will be affected by this algae bloom. So this process is termed as eutrophication. So when this on the surface of water, the plants are like algae. If its growth is more on the surface of water, so it covers that water surface, so that the animal species which live in the water, so they can affect by oxygen deficiency. So because of this oxygen deficiency, they lose their life and the water gets polluted. So this process, this phenomenon is known as eutrophication. Is it clear? So best effect of this eutrophication is it affects the aquatic life, and even it causes, because of the death of aquatic life, it produces a bad smell from that particular water body. Eutrophication. Is it clear? So we have seen water pollution under the two headings. Next we can see two more topics, that is chemical oxygen demand and biochemical oxygen demand, BOD and COD. So it is for both are we are using to measure the purity purity of water. Okay, so we can measure the purity of water using these two parameters. One is biochemical oxygen demand. The next one is chemical oxygen demand. So first one, biochemical oxygen demand is how much amount of microorganisms or amount of oxygen is consumed by microorganism to reduce the waste. For example, it may be organic matter. For this decomposition of organic matter, which is present in 1 liter water at 20 degrees Celsius in 5 days. Particular organic matter should be decomposed by microorganism, which is in 1 liter of water at 20 degrees Celsius and 5 days. How much oxygen is consumed by this process? That is called as biochemical oxygen demand. So next is chemical oxygen demand. The same thing for decomposition of organic matter. How much oxygen is required for decomposing this organic matter? That given in only in, it is given 5 days, it is only in 4 hours. Okay, time has reduced. So this is called as chemical oxygen demand. Biochemical oxygen demand and BOD, COD. So BOD is best useful for the important parameter for explaining, that is for measuring the purity of water. Clear? So next we can see the topic soil pollution. So soil pollution So for soil pollution, the important reason for this is, so mainly the ions which is present in the soil that we can by means of fertilizers, by pesticides, fumicides, so many examples are there. So these are the main reason for the soil pollution. So when apart from this, some organic waste also, for example, organic matter like or ions like calcium, magnesium, so these type of ions also, sulfates, so carbonates. So this type of ions, when it is present in the soil, so this also makes the soil may be polluted. Okay, lead, cadmium, these also. So next we can see the topic green chemistry. So green chemistry is for example, I will explain for preparation of styrene. By two ways. One is it can be prepared from carcinogenic benzene, and same way it can be prepared from carcinogenic benzene. And one more way, so we can prepare from xylene. So usually when carcinogenic benzene, when it is reacted with ethylene, it forms ethyl benzene. Afterwards, when it is hydrogenated, that is reduced by Fe2O3, ferric oxide or aluminium oxide. When it is used as a reducing agent, it reduces and finally it forms styrene. But it affects, it causes pollution, so that apart from this method, we can use this xylene, so which that is we can call it as a green via preparation of styrene using this green chemistry method from xylene we can prepare styrene. Okay. So next, the same way, when you consider the same green method for methanol is used as a fuel, and for clean clothes for used for dry washing, isn't it? So for the dry washing of clothes also, dry cleaning of clothes also, nowadays H2O2 is used, hydrogen peroxide can be used. So these are the methods which are used under this green chemistry. Okay. For example, first method is for preparation of styrene. The golden method is, it is from carcinogenic benzene. So instead of using this carcinogenic benzene, the new method xylene can be used as a reactant material. So same for fuels. Instead of fuels, we can use methanol. Next, for dry cleaning of cloths, we can use hydrogen peroxide. Previously, whatever we have used as a reactant, it is harmful to our environment. So in today's class, we have discussed about pollution, isn't it? So that is air pollution, water pollution and soil pollution. Under that, important topics also we have explained, that is global warming, greenhouse effect. So these are the important questions I have written. Apart from this, we have to study this also. Concentrate on these questions also. Thank you, students.